have a commuter permit. Costs about $90.
I have trouble just about every day finding a parking spot.
Every day.
There are places you can go to where you know you can find one, but finding a good spot is always the trouble.
One, it's by policy. Anybody walks in the front door can buy a permit. But two, because people come and go, and not everybody comes to campus at the same time or every day, you can oversell and still provide parking for people.
In my total 4.5 years here, I've had 2 parking tickets.
I'd say I've gotten about 3 or 4 parking tickets.
No, I almost did once, but their little like handheld computer thing wasn't working, so they couldn't write the ticket.
A lot of their enforcement officers are rude. And I know I've dealt with one who was a retired policeman, and he pretty much was very, very rude and very vocal and very not sympathetic to my case. I had ran in real quick to turn in a paper, and he pretty much just walked me in and gave me a ticket and said he didn't feel any sympathy for people like me because I should know better, and if I had something to say, then I'd have to go talk to somebody else about it.
Well, with the appeals, that's an independent review board. Faculty, staff, and student sit on the appeals committee and review the appeals. They're generally fairly stringent, unless there's a very unusual circumstance. The appeals are generally denied.
They need some more spaces for just a regular commuter, especially for off-campus people. And maybe a few more motorcycle spots.
I think that parking and transportation should offer more services. I mean, the amount that students pay for tickets, I feel like the money should go towards something like more parking spaces or cheaper parking permits, because it's enough students here at WKU where the parking permit could be cheaper. There's no reason why the parking permit should be, $90, and you can't even find a parking spot.
I mean, I know there's like feasibility issues where it's like it's maybe not economical to have like another parking structure or to have another whole lot just for commuters or just for anybody. But at the same time, anyone who's been here around a time period when class is really in session, that's the time when you really need an extra parking lot or an extra parking structure.
I mean, everybody ain't trying to live on campus forever, so I feel like, just give more options.
Generally, complaints are about the availability of parking, and that's really because parking is available where people want it to be. We just can't provide parking at the front door for everybody. The laws of physics don't allow it. But we have adequate parking on campus, but some of that may be in the Creasem lot. They're picking on the little guy. That's a quick response. That seems like an easy fix, but the university philosophy is really to provide on-campus housing for students, because students who are active in school get better grades, and they tend to graduate more. So in terms of academic development and retention, creating that living on-campus experience is very important, and they want that experience to be as good as possible. So having access to your car is part of that. And there's also generally a fear that if you banned freshmen from bringing cars to campus, that that would hurt recruitment.
My question for PTS is if they have any plans at all for the future of bettering parking for commuters, because they never really seem to change anything. So.
I'd like to see additional parking around the Ogden Science Complex. One of the challenges that we have is that parking decks are expensive. It's $15,000, $18,000 a parking space. Like I said, land is limited, so that adds to the cost as well. And to give you an idea of what those costs are, parking structure 2 costs $800,000 in bond payments a year. That's 825 spaces. If we wanted to add another parking deck similar in size to parking structure 2, you're looking at another $800,000 a year payment or more. The total revenue generated by permit sales right now is $1 million. So if we wanted to fund another parking structure 2 strictly from our department, we would have to double the permit fees to do it. And that's not something that's necessarily a popular idea. And I'd like to emphasize that it's the Parking and Transportation Department. It's not the Parking Services Department. So transportation is a huge part of it. Like I said, our philosophy is really about providing access to campus, and that may or may not involve a car. So with the growth in public transit, and the growth in the park and ride system, and making it easier for people to bike or walk to campus, we've done a lot to provide access without necessarily providing additional parking.